Our next section is acne. Well, you may think acne is a small thing for you because you don't get septic and die. But I don't know about you, but, you know, I think it's nice to be alive. You know, medicine to keep us alive is a wonderful thing. Engineering, law, build bridges and tunnels are great things to keep us alive. But what are we staying alive for? Well, so we can go out on a date, I think. I mean, what are we staying alive for? I've got some good news and some bad news. I've cured all your underlying medical illness. What's the bad news? You've got such bad acne, you're going to spend the entire rest of your life dating over the internet. Because acne may seem small to everyone except the person who's got the acne. You see, if you look at acne here and all these lumpy, bumpy comedones, bumpy, bumpy, lumpy, bumpy comedones, blackheads, whiteheads, whiteheads, blackheads, blackheads, whiteheads, what you see here is that if you have mild acne, you use a mild topical antibiotic like benzoyl peroxide. Use a mild topical antibiotic like benzoyl peroxide. Now, that's over the counter. Don't need a prescription? Hey, watch afternoon TV and see what the teenagers are watching, okay? I stopped watching. Of course, I don't use benzoyl peroxide because I'm over my acne. Okay? So the thing is, topical cleaners. Now, what are you going to do if your benzoyl peroxide does not solve you? Well, we got to up the grade, up the grade, up the grade. Up the grade. Well, it's a little topical. Let's use a little topical vitamin A derivative. Topical vitamin A. Retinoic acid. Retin A. Little topical vitamin A, little topical, little topical. Damn, it didn't control it, didn't control it, didn't control it. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to add a topical antibiotic. We're going to add a topical antibiotic. We're going to add a topical erythromycin. We're going to add a little topical clindamycin. We're going to add a little topical erythromycin. We're going to add a little topical antibiotic. Oh, man. It still sucks. Damn, large cystic acne, big ugly cysts that leave craters. Terrible. Seriously, you know, it's great to be alive, but it's better to be alive for something. Art, music, literature, poetry. What are we staying alive for? Well, it's nice to have topicals, but it doesn't get in deep. What are we going to do? What are we going to switch. We're going to switch to oral antibiotics. Oral minocycline. Oral erythromycin is a little hard on the guts. Oral erythromycin a little hard in the guts. Oral erythromycin makes you very juicy. Did you get that? Erythro makes you go, and erythro makes you go, same time. Oh no! The topical vitamin A! Oh, Captain, the topical vitamin A didn't work. The oral antibiotics didn't work. Oh, Captain, should we change course? Why, Scotty? Oh, because this acne is so bad. It's intercoursed. What should we do? We're going to switch. We're going to switch course because this acne. And we're going to do an oral retinoic acid derivative. Now, what's the problem? Oh, no. Oral retinoic acids. Why, it's nuclear. What's the thing? Kills a lot of acne. What's the bad thing about using nuclear things? It's hard work. Is that they're tremendously dangerous. Retinoic acid oral is Accutane, Accutane, Tazarotene, oral retinoic acid. This is tremendously teratogenic. Tremendously teratogenic. And this could end up causing all sorts of birth defects. A little topical antibiotic. Add topical vitamin A. Topical antibiotics. Oral antibiotics. Worst thing, hardest thing? Oral vitamin A derivatives. Tazarotene, retinoic acid, Accutane. Accutane. That's acne for you. Acne management is in a stepwise progression. First I clean it up, then I use some vitamin A. Vitamin A topically has revolutionized the management of acne. It's fantastic, man. Wake up and compel those cells to differentiate, be more mature. Fantastic. And in topical versions, has no side effects. But you know what? I would use oral vitamin A if nothing else worked for bad cystic acne. You know, those cysts, when they pop, they leave craters. It's like the moon, man. It's like a moon face, okay? Not in like a Cushing's way. Because when it damages those cells, boom, it's it. It's like craters. They'll stay there for the next 100,000 years. So would I take it? Definitely, definitely. So this is your stepwise progression. You ready? Who's the person that gets the 76, the 86, and the 96 on step 2? The guy that gets the 76 says, kid comes with acne, what would you do first? The answer is benzoyl peroxide. The person who gets the 86 is, the guy comes, he's on benzoyl peroxide and topical vitamin A, and he's still not controlled. What would you do? I'd add topical antibiotics. The person who gets the 96 goes like this. The patient has failed therapy with benzoyl peroxide, topical vitamin A, and topical and oral antibiotics. What would you do next? I'd add oral vitamin A. Add oral vitamin A derivatives, Accutane. Isotretinoin. 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 Boom. What would you do next? What would you do next? What would you do next? The difference between the person who gets a 76, 86, and 96 is a matter of depth. What would you do next? The initial thing has been done. What would you do next? The initial thing has failed. What would you do next? That thing has been done. What would you do next? What would you do next? The major thing that you actually learn here with us now, what we try and lend you through the DVD, is in fact we're lending you the judgment for your own clinical experience. In reality, you can go buy a book right now that has all the information I'm saying and much less expensive than what thing you're doing right now. But the difference is that you don't know the order in which to do things. It is, in fact, the order in which to do things is the main thing that you come to learn. What would you do next in the management of this patient? What would you do next in the management of this patient? What would you do next in the management of this patient? That's the main thing that we come to learn here. That is very hard to get from a book / impossible, the order in which to do things. You're choosing, asked to choose between the test and the treatment. What would you do next between the test and the treatment? You know that you want to do both. What's the most important thing? A guy comes with a myocardial infarction. Do you want to get a CPK-MB or aspirin? Well, I want to do both. But it's a single best answer question. You have to choose. What would you do next? What's the most appropriate? Well, you're supposed to do both of them. Yeah, but that's not what the question said. The question says you must choose. Which one? Single best answer. The answer is the aspirin. Why? Because the CK&B doesn't change management. What would you do next? Judgment. You've heard about CK&Bs. You've heard about beta blockers. You've heard about vitamin A. You've heard about topical and oral antibiotics. But what would you do next? If you want more images, please go to whatever websites you like here. Here's a couple of good ones. These are okay. Go to some websites. The other thing is Google Images. Just hit images and Google out whatever you want, and you can have your own textbook. Anytime you want, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can get 50 images on almost anything in about a millisecond, okay? I wish you so well, and I'm so glad you've come to join me for dermatology. You know, this may be the very last time that many of you ever study dermatology, because if you go into surgical residency, or if you go into psychiatry, if you go into rehab, if you go into anesthesia, you're never going to study. This is the last time. So flow through the pictures again and get some others from Google Images, and you can't tell what thing you're going to learn today that you're going to need to make somebody's life better. You know, to relieve one person's suffering is to have changed one life so profoundly. It's made your entire life worthwhile, just to relieve one person's suffering. I wish you well. I'll see you in the next section.